Thank you, Scott. This next speaker, I've got to tell you, social media is really kind of a catch-22 situation, right? It's the worst thing that happened to America, and it's probably one of the best things that's happened to America, at least in my view. I try to look at the positive in everything. It allows us to be able to make friends that we never even meet. It allows us to debate and to become stronger. And for me, as long as I've been active on Facebook, I've used it to be able to travel around the state in my territory as a JBS coordinator, to be able to visit friends, encourage memberships, and be able to get to know people. Tony Ulrich is one of those friends. He's been a friend of mine a long time for Facebook. It was years before I even met him. And I drove out to his house and met with him in Christie. And I asked him if he was interested in the John Birch Society after talking to him for a little while, and he says, well, I'm already doing Constitution is the Solution classes. And I thought, yeah, this state is just amazing with the people that you run into that are doing their part, however small or however great, to be able to try to work toward the restoration of liberty. And it's really, really cool to be able to announce, though, that he's running for office. So our next speaker is Tony Ulrich. Tony is a candidate for the Idaho House in District 23. He's a local farm and ranch mechanic, a legislative district chair for the Constitution Party of Idaho, has been involved in politics since the early 90s, and he is originally from Hillsboro, Oregon, and escaped to Idaho in 2005. This is his second run for the House District 23. So please help me welcome Tony Ulrich.
Hopefully you'll all be able to hear me. I'm not used to standing up on stage and talking to people. I'm kind of a busybody. I'm being told I need to speak into the mic a little bit more. Is that better? Hopefully that's better and everyone can hear me. Anyway, I knew today when I got here I was going to be following some really great speakers, and it weighed heavy on what part of freedom I wanted to talk about. I knew most of the subjects by this time of the day would be covered, and am I popping? Oh. Would be covered, and I didn't want to talk about things other people had talked about. So I really thought about what made me want to run for office. Now,
You want to use the other mic.
Let's see if we can. Is this any better?
There you go.
Oh, that sounds a lot better. I can hear me now. So I thought about what really made me want to run to office. And it took me several days to figure out that, freedom really matters. A lot of us don't realize that, freedom is our duty as well as that of our governments. Government's responsible for protecting our freedoms, but it's our responsibility to protect our freedoms from our government. We don't research our elected officials like we should. We don't, we rely on that D and that R. And I've got to be honest, in the Idaho legislature right now, there are many Democrats that vote better than some of our Republicans. And that really makes me sad. I mean, I left the Republican Party in 1994, might have been 95, because in Oregon, where I come from, the Republicans weren't following their platform. They were selling their constituents out. The rank and file voters didn't matter. I was a contractor for many years. Everything I did, the government had some sort of hand in. It was my job to pay attention to what my government was doing, to hound my elected representatives. Christy Zito's been my elected representative for 4 years now, Christy. And, I'm hoping she's going to be my senator again this year. And, you can ask Christy. I hound her a lot. I pay attention to what's going on, and each and every one of us need to do this. District 24 has an ex-representative who seems to think that the Idaho Freedom Foundation is a bad thing. Thinks that they're this evil that's only promoting a few legislators. The fact of the matter is the Idaho Freedom Foundation and their Freedom Index is a tool. And how you use that tool is up to you. I don't always agree with them. I don't always agree with Christie. Occasionally we have a difference of opinion. But I use that as a baseline when I'm rating one of my elected representatives. And I've rated every representative in the state. I watch them very closely because every bill they pass or every bill they present effectively affects me. So it's important that we as citizens take our duty and our responsibility in this situation and research and learn. So what really brought me into the fact of running is I saw that there's this thing in Idaho called the administrative rules. The APA is probably the biggest abuse of our freedoms and our liberties you have ever seen. And most people in this state don't realize that every APA rule or some APA rule affects their personal life in some way, shape, or form. The fact of the matter, the APA was written so that government agencies would have legislative intent and interpretation of the actual laws. And sometime around, I would say 1994, 95, something in Idaho really changed. And they started using those rules to affect the people instead of to tell them how to operate and how to interpret laws. And it's just sad. We need to rewrite the APA. We need to go through all the administrative code and rework that. So instead of affecting us as citizens, it's affecting the government the way it should be. It's supposed to tell them how to operate. And if anything, and they want these rules to affect the people like law, which they currently do, they need to go through the same exact process as a law does to become a fact. Now, I had a really big speech written on this, and it's going to go on and on and on and on, but unfortunately, when I left the house this morning, I had a big box of papers, and it wasn't in the box. So I'm going to be fairly short on this, and I just want to remind you all that freedom isn't free. It requires each of us to do our duty, especially at elections. So I'm not sure how many people are here actually from my district. I've talked to a few people today. I know that a lot of you are from this District 24, and this is a great district, but it needs some help when it comes to the legislature. The Senate, the House, the governor. We really need to do something about our governor. He's just flat out of control. And I just got a sign that I'm at a 3-minute warning, and I'm actually going to end it now because I'm running out of things to say and I don't want to babble and bore you. So I'd like to thank Tom, Glenita, Lyle, everyone that helped put this function together. I'd like to thank each of you for coming, and hey Tom, you're up again. Thank you.